Good evening, welcome to another episode of 758 Sports Talk, and we have a lot to get into tonight. Weekend absolutely packed with none more so than the World Cup 2018 in Russia. Of course, so much to talk about in terms of the World Cup. Unexpected results so far. For the Brazilian fans out there, hard luck. I'll say hard luck. For the German fans out there, I'd say good luck. For the Argentine fans out there, I'd say so sad. So sad. But it is what it is when it comes to sport. I think by now everybody knows that sport is played on the day, not on paper. And if we look at the World Cup based on paper, and we look at the quality of the team based on what happens in previous years, then we are going to be shaking our heads, as most of us will, on the weekend. All right, I'm not going to get into that just yet because there are so many other things that we weren't able to report in tonight's news, and obviously time did not permit us to get into certain things. The following players have been selected to represent St. Lucia in the Windward Islands Under-19 cricket tournament. Of course, a number of cricket fans would have been waiting in earnest to see what the composition of that team would be. I was one of them, and it was sent to me on the weekend via WhatsApp. I haven't seen anything from the St. Lucia National Cricket Association, but I can guarantee you, St. Lucia, the person I got it from, close enough, and I could safely read out those individuals. John L. Eugene, captain. Kimani Melius, vice captain. Wayne Edward, Jad Goodman, Simeon Gerson, Craig Elize, Gavin Serie, Sanjay Hale, Aki Mogis, Keegan Arnold, Tyron Theodore, Janik Serie, Matteo Belong. Now, reserves. Listen to who's on reserves. Lee Solomon, Udell Preville, Jaden Elibox, Rhyme Joseph. Alright, the selectors were Keith Shalry, I think he's the chief selector, Walter Emmanuel, and Tyron Harris. Now, a lot has been said so far about the composition of this team, and when I saw the list of 20 players on trials, I said very early to St. Lucia that this task was going to be absolutely difficult for any selector. Any selector, any set of selectors would have run into difficulty picking this team. I remember having that conversation, and my dear friend at the Vibe Radio, Elijah Williams, said, no, well, it should be easy. As a matter of fact, it is easy when you look at the first set of names. John L. Eugene, duh. Kimani Melius, like really. Wayne Edward, Jad Goodman. You see the names that are obvious. And then you see the names that, in fact, every single individual on this team, a justification can be given, and a justification that is sound and legit and reasonable can be given for every single player selected on that team. That being said, every single player on reserve, a sound justification, a sound analysis can be made for that individual to be on the actual selected side. This is the era that we are in right now when it comes to our national youth cricket. This is just where we are right now. It's an absolutely good team. I see no reason why we should not defend our championship, why we should not win in stunning and easy fashion at the Windward Island Games. I see no reason why this team will not have. As a matter of fact, the next set of selection for the Windward Islands Under-19 team will be a headache for those selectors. I can tell you that clearly. And so congratulations. I think congratulations goes out to every individual on that team, including those individuals that are on reserves. Including these individuals. Lee Solomon, I must say, hard luck. Udell Preville, hard luck. Jaden Elibox, hard luck. Rhyme Joseph, hard luck. I say that because you guys are really talented individuals. The stories, your results, the bowling figures, batting results come to us every day, and we just marvel at the absolute talent that we have in our youth cricket this year and in recent times. All right, I had to speak to that. There's also conversation about the captain, vice captaincy. Kimani Melius, Jonel Eugene, of course, two individuals that have been selected to be on the West Indies team. One on the camp, not selected on the final team. But when we look at, in terms of pure cricketing knowledge, there's nothing to sneeze on when you talk about Jonel Eugene. Pure cricketing talent, batting, bowling, and just have a conversation with the young man and you would know absolute brilliant cricketing mind. The same can be said for Kimani Melius. So, St. Lucia just advised that we rally behind these young individuals and we provide as much support as possible, and we wish them all the best as they make their way to Grenada. All right, so that is the cricket under-19, the under-19 cricket team. Also got some information on the Monrepo Credit Union T20 cricket tournament. Pastures Youth Organization, they came up against Small Axe of Vieux-Fort. Small Axe won the toss and batted. They amassed 115 for 7 in their allotted overs. Al Prince, the top scored with 50. For PYO, Cyril Charles, Kendall Samuel and Johnson Charles bagged 2 wickets each. In their turn at the crease, PYO, they knocked the runs off, losing just 5 wickets in the process. Johnson Charles, he top scored with 45, earned him the Player of the Match award. For Small Axe, Al Prince, he took 3 for 35. PYO, they won by 5 wickets. All right, in the second match of the day, Prale Bay United, they took on DX Revival of Deriso in a one-sided contest. The DX Revival, they won the toss and batted first. They lost 3 wickets in the first over. Wow. From which they never recovered. They managed to score 54 for 7. Rick Lagelier top scored with 25. For Prale Bay, Ivanas Emmanuel, he bagged the 3 for 8, and Zachary Edmond took 2 for 11. All right, Prale, they scored 56 without loss. They won by 10 wickets. Zachary Edmond 25 and Moving Wells 15. I've said before that I will take in some of that cricket action at the Monrepo play. I think that's at the Wen playing field. I guess somebody could message me a little bit later if they need to correct me. But from my information, it's at the Wen playing field. Of course, exciting cricket action. Once you're in Monrepo, you know Monrepo is known historically for their cricket prowess, and I guess efforts are afoot to put them back where they belong in terms of the top of St. Lucian cricket. And Central Castries and South Castries and Grosley at the under-19 level are doing so much now. All right, only one match was played on Sunday. Young Strikers, they took on Vieux-Fort South. Vieux-Fort won the toss, batted. They reached 98 for 8. Dishan Rampal got 55 for Young Strikers. Village Sertange, he took 3 for 24. Christian Jules and Johan William had 2 wickets apiece. In reply, Young Strikers, they knocked off the runs by amassing 96 for 1. Junior Henry, he scored a 79 not out. Rohan Lesmond 19. And Young Strikers won by 9 wickets. So this Sunday, on June 24th, Young Strikers, they'll take on Labrie Stars, and the Grass Street Sports Club, they come up against Creation Sports Club. So that's information from the Monrepo Credit Union T20 cricket competition. Also on the weekend, the St. Lucia Amateur Swimming Association, they sent the results from the inter-school swimming competition. Of course, we read some of that during the sports package, but again, the press release was quite lengthy, so we had to truncate everything to give you all just pretty much the general information about who won. Of course, once I saw Leoness Comprehensive Secondary School won, I was like, yeah, I mean, we're the best. So, I mean, you know. But I'm going to get into the individuals that actually did well. The participating schools in the primary school section was Montessori, Dame Paulette Louisi, Tapia Primary, Camille Henry School, Bonte Prep, and the International School. All right, so the secondary schools who registered were Leoness Comprehensive, St. Joseph's Convent, St. Mary's College, and the International School. In other words, the big guns registered in the secondary school department. The emerging champion swimmers for the primary schools, Montessori, they placed first. They amassed 327.5 points on the score sheet. Dame Paulette, they finished second. They had 245 points, and Tapia Primary placed third with 145 points. So Miller, Festina, Cromer, Thaden Anton, or that's Taden Anton. I'm wondering if that should be Stadion Antoine. Jasmine Steed, Carrick Charles, Anais Batalid, Sorry for butchering your names. Bartolid, Lorenzo, Festina, Cromer. They were among the top performers in the primary school competition. Now, in the secondary school competition, Leoness Secondary, they finished first with 323 points. And they edged out St. Mary's College. They finished on 321. So, Leoness won by 1.5 points. A win is a win is a win. So, St. Mary's College, all the St. Marians out there, so sad. So sad. Alright, St. Mary's College, in fact, St. Joseph Convent finished second, sorry. St. Mary's College came third, a distant third, 267. It's always nice when it happens. Alright, so Naima Hazel, Aiden Daisy, Nathan Vijay, Alondri Cross, Veronica Brown, Kamal Griffith, and Adamopoulos. Wow, Adamopoulos Danny was also one of the performing swimmers for the secondary school. So the St. Lucia Amateur Swimming Association and the Ministry of Youth and Sports recognizes the effort of the participating schools and look forward to increased participation in the 2019 competition. All right. So that is from the swimming fraternity. We also had some information from tennis. So, St. Lucia, you understand why when I tell you on a Monday night to put everything in our sports package, I pretty much have to ask team and the guys to give me, 45 minutes to read all of this. Thank God we have our sports show so we can get through some of that information. Of course, tomorrow night I will feature all the stories with the pictures and if we have any interviews, so you can catch us then for that as well. So tennis, the St. Lucia Tennis Association, they concluded the 12 and under team trial on the weekend. Players competed to make the team to participate in the upcoming regional championship in Trinidad. So the top-ranked 12 and under players were all eager as the best of the best got selected. This is an annual tournament held in the region. All right, after a long weekend, some of the players are selected. Alisa Elliott, Ayana Paul, Alana Buski. The team captain is, in fact, Miss Skylar Marie. So these were the individuals selected. Alisa Elliott, Ayana Paul, Alana Buski, and of course team captain Skylar Marie. The team is set to leave on July 15th for Trinidad for a week of competition. They will be facing 9 other countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Dominica, BVI, Curacao, Suriname, and of course host Trinidad and Tobago. The team is currently preparing for the event, being coached by Carlos Lopez and Vernon Lewis. All right. So that's definitely some information from the tennis fraternity from the weekend that was and the activities that have been ongoing. We mentioned the list of players for the St. Lucia basketball team. A team was selected for the upcoming FIBA championship. They don't have that information with me right now, but a team was selected and that team will be leaving for Suriname on Friday. They'll be heading over to Suriname to participate in the championship representing Sweet St. Lucia. So that should be very, very intriguing. All right, I have another announcement there I need to get to from the Masha community. It's a massive health fair hosted by the Castries East Home Health Caregivers in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. So that's on Sunday, June 24th, 2018 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Masha grounds. So you will be seeing from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Sorry. You'll be seeing aerobics with Vel, of course, Vel from Vel Fitness Gym from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So 1 hour of fitness training with Vel. Jesus. Good luck, people. That should be interesting. Make an effort to come. We can only help you. I would send the rugby players to that session. For sure. Oh no, they won't be. They will be in their own activities. All right. From 10 a.m. onwards, they'll have a 10,000 step challenge, hearing, vision, and dental checks, HIV testing, all of that at Masha playing field, blood sugar and blood pressure testing, body mass index, that's the BMI assessment, PSA checks for men and pap smear for the women, parent and child assessment, vaccination, forget-me-not massages. Wow. Okay, so I have an absolute reason for me to be there. Forget-me-not massages. That must be real special. Healthy foods, tasting, and health products display. Okay, so the kiddies also have their bouncing castle and the like. So it's a family fun sort of activity brought to you by the Castries East Home Health Caregivers. So that should be very, very interesting. That should be very, very fun and exciting. And of course, I think everybody in that entry pool, Bocage, Masha, Castries community should make a special effort to definitely attend. All right, so that should be nice to take in. All right, so we have some other information for you guys. Of course, the Windward Island Games is quickly approaching St. Lucia. The St. Lucia is hosting the Windward Island Games, and information has been forthcoming as it pertains to the games. Let me just try and get some of that for you guys. And of course, if you have not heard of Viewfort, will be the central hub for all of the activity. The athletic village will be in Viewfort. Of course, we have a number of things planned in terms of promoting the activity. On next Friday, the 29th, St. Lucia Sports Online will be, as a matter of fact, St. Lucia Sports Online will be giving a laptop to one lucky subscriber. A laptop. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to visit the schools in the south. So that's Soufrière Comprehensive. We're looking at Choiseul, Piaille, also Viewfort, Binfield, Viewfort Compre, all the way to Micoud, Micoud Comprehensive, Angers, Micoud Secondary, sorry, Angers, Clendon Mason, of course, Grand Rivière Secondary Schools. We will be making stops at the schools. We'll be asking people to register for the page, like the page, and one lucky individual, in fact, everybody will get a chance, but one lucky individual will win themselves a brand new laptop just for subscribing to the page and just for following the Windward Island Games 2018. All right, so look out for the advertisement. It should be coming out soon. That should be exciting, and a lot will be going on with the Windward Island Games. And of course, as we get closer, the information would be filtered out for you guys more and more. All right, and also if you guys are in the Soufrière area on Wednesday night, rev up at Club Whispers. Let me tell you, I don't go out on Wednesdays because Monday is as tough as it gets after the weekend. Tuesday you try to recover, Wednesday you should be recovered. But this Wednesday, I'm going to make an absolute special effort. As a matter of fact, I can say safely that I will make the trek to Soufrière for Rev Up. And for a number of reasons. I think Soufrière Comprehensive, as a secondary school, they've invested a lot of time and effort into the school sports program. I can attest to that because I've had interactions with a number of persons there. I've had conversations with a number of persons there, the athletes, and the effort they put in is tantamount to what I experienced at the Leoness Comprehensive Secondary School in terms of an administration that is really committed to helping out student athletes. And obviously, Soufrière Comprehensive and Micoud Secondary, they've been selected from St. Lucia to participate in the regional schools netball tournament in Jamaica. And they've decided, you know what, as they normally do, I can tell you that these guys always try to get money from somewhere to help the athletes. They have a fundraiser on Wednesday night, and that is going to be at Club Whispers in Soufrière. Club Whispers in Soufrière. It's going to start at 8 o'clock. Listen to the lineup. We're talking about Ezra the Fun Machine in there, live. We're talking about Kuya, live. We're talking about Messi. We're talking about, oh my God, I don't have the rest of the list. But we're talking about, this other Denry segment guy. Black Boy. That should be exciting. I hope I'm correct on that. But yes, that should be very, very exciting. And guess what? That is only $15. To me, that is an absolute steal because people paying $50 to go and see these fellas anywhere else. And for that to be $15, it just speaks to the school wanting to raise as much money as possible for their student athlete. And of course, I'm definitely going to support that. I'm definitely going to go down there, and I might not pay $15 to enter, but I'll definitely make sure that that I make a contribution. Definitely make a contribution to that worthwhile cause. All right. So I think we can take a break now. We have a lot to get into when we come back. We definitely have a lot to get into. We have a lot to talk about tonight. I know I still have not touched on the West Indies cricket, but let me just touch on that before we take our break and introduce our guests. So when we're talking to our guests, we don't have to divert from that too much. So the match was drawn. I guess by now most of us know that West Indies versus Sri Lanka. That match ended in a draw. Scores in this match. Let me get that for you guys. Make sure I get that for you. Get everything accurate. So West Indies, they played to a draw at the Darantami Cricket Grounds. They bowled out Sri Lanka in the first innings for 253. Shannon Gabriel, he bagged 5 for 59. Kima Roach bagged 4 for 49. Chandimal, who is the captain, he top scored with 119 not out. In response, West Indies got to an even 300. Devon Smith top scored with 61. We said he was due a knock. The Grenadian, who is making his way back into the West Indies team at the age of 36. Kumara, he took 4 for 86. In the second innings, Sri Lanka got to 342 all out. Mendes got to 87. Shannon Gabriel, he took 8 for 62. So Shannon Gabriel had a monster game. He had 8 and 5 in that test match, a monster game. And I remember I remember taking in some of his overs from a very nice angle and seeing that ball zipping through. Let me tell you, the Sri Lankans couldn't handle him at all. All right, Sri Lanka, they had a lead of 296. So consider that total. Craig Barfield, he scored, he is a 1650. I think that is 1750. He ended up with 59, and at the end of the day, the match was drawn. It was called off because of the bad weather, and they could not really see the ball anymore. So they called it off. It was raining, lighting was a problem, and so they called that game off. So it was drawn. All right. Of course, by now you would have heard about the ball tampering issue with the Sri Lankans. Of course, the ICC will be looking closely into that. This guy had sweets, mint sweets, sweeties, whatever you want to call it, in his pocket. Sucked on it, took it out from his pocket, rubbed it on the ball to try to get an unfair advantage. He said he didn't do it. It wasn't him. So I guess we'll see what happens from that. All right. 4880929 is the number to send your WhatsApp messages at 4880929, and later, of course, we'll be opening the phone lines for you guys to send in your messages. We'll have a brief discussion on the World Cup so far, and you guys are going to tell me who you think is going to win this year's World Cup. I certainly hope people are not still saying Argentina, still saying Germany. I hope we are wiser people than that. I'm going to take my flak for that, but these two teams will not win, and so we'll have a brief discussion on that. Obviously, you guys could send via WhatsApp. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have so much more for you guys. We'll be back.
Solution. You can get it anywhere on the island. So take a blue water's break. A local blue water's break. Take a blue water's break. So take a break.
Blue Waters, 100% bottled in St. Lucia. So take a local Blue Waters break.
Tomorrow is promised to no one. But we can make a brighter today, knowing we can secure tomorrow for ourselves and the ones we love. Let Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company Limited show you the way to protecting all that is precious to you through home, motor, private and commercial fire, construction, and marine insurance. We provide for all your insurance needs to protect your lifestyle. Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company Limited, rated A Excellent by AM Best. That means our claims paying ability is stronger than ever. So we can insure tomorrow. Secure.
Jingle bells. jingle bells.
Jingle all the way. Oh, what's up to be so right? I wanna know what love is.
Smash TV in your face. It's correct.
Smash TV in your face.
Smash TV. Nobody I want on the cripple. Hey.
Smash TV.
Smash TV. Smash TV. Smash TV. Smash TV in your face.
In your face.
In your face. Person
Smash TV in your face.
in your face.
Smash TV, coming soon to DBS.
Gerard, what are you doing? I am geared up to get rid of all Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, cause it's them things that spread in Zika. That Zika virus is brutal, you know. It has symptoms like mild fever, red eyes, skin rashes, and muscle and joint pain. These symptoms last for 2 to 7 days. But if it gets worse, you have to seek medical care for ya. Zika virus can be passed from a pregnant woman to her fetus. Infection during pregnancy can cause certain birth defects, like microcephaly. This can be a fatal brain condition in newborn infants. To prevent Zika, we have to take certain measures. We have to reduce mosquito breeding, remove or turn over all equipment and containers that may hold water. Why? Cause them things breed in stagnant water. We have to wear long sleeve shirts and pants early mornings and evenings. Sleep under mosquito nets. You forget to use the repellent. There is no cure for Zika, so medicine can be used to reduce fever and pain. Get lots of rest and drink plenty fluids. Look, Mr. Shaw have some old drums by his home. Let's go talk to him about preventing Zika. It has to be a community effort. Let's go. Together, we can stop the spread of Zika.
Alright, welcome back to 758 Sports Talk, and we have a lot to discuss tonight, and of course my guests are in studio. As we can see, a number of other initiatives are ongoing in sports. The St. Lucia Football Association, they are planning the Coca-Cola Championship. Of course, I am waiting. I made a couple of calls today, but apparently there was a technical meeting today to discuss that. There's a lot of football ongoing right now, and a lot of football coming in the coming week. In fact, this weekend we're supposed to see some action on the way. All right. But tonight I'm just going to introduce you to our guests, since we already have them on set, and which is going to lead us to our discussion for the Magnificent 7 regional competition. I've been looking forward to this one for a couple of months now, because the planning process has started. Well, it started a while ago, and of course my neighbors who, asking me more and more questions about organizing the event. And so I have tonight with me Mr. Colvis Samuel, who is to my far right. He is the president of Whiptail Warriors Rugby Football Club. And Genesis Alfred is to my immediate right. And we're going to be talking about the Magnificent 7. Welcome to our set, sir.
Thank you very much.
Madam, we always say ladies first, so I'm going to definitely question you. I'm just going to ask you about yourself. Easy question. Tell us about yourself and just tell us how you got involved in rugby.
Okay, well, my name is Genesis Alfred. I have been a rugby player for approximately a year now. Basically, I got introduced to it by my coach and his daughter because she went to school with me, and I guess it has been a lovely experience.
All right, okay. Mr. Samuel, let me tell you, have to ask this. We only have 1 hour.
But my name is Colvis R.M. Samuels. I'm the president of the Whiptail Warriors Rugby Club. I started playing rugby way back in 1988. I don't know if you were born at that time.
I was 4 years old. I was 4 years old.
Exactly. And I've come a long way since then, playing both for Guyana, where I'm from originally, and then St. Lucia. Introduced to rugby some years ago after running track. I went to Junior Crafty Games, believe it or leave it.
You are a track and field athlete.
Yeah, ran the 100 meters, did the long jump as well.
No, I have to ask you, what is your fastest time in the 100? Because I mean, I was a sprinter.
Well, I did it mainly in my junior years, so I ran the 100 meters in just over 11 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And then came down a little bit when I started coming. When I became a senior athlete, but I had to juggle between that and academics, and I had to choose academics. I even went to World University Games, what is called the World Student Games as well, in the then Yugoslavia, and then Sheffield. Believe it or leave it. And I also have a background in football, and when I brought these two sports together, I became an instant success in rugby, playing on the wing because of my speed. And then as I got older, got closer into the scrum, and then now I hardly ever play because we have a cohort of young people, including my son Tyrese Samuels, Jardel, Lambert,
Tyrese Lapo Samuel.
You can call him Lapo, but at 15 years old, he was the vice captain of the senior male team, so that speaks volumes.
As always, just Pokemon. You know he good.
So we have a young group, and what we're trying to do is to develop them not only in rugby but significantly more than rugby, in leadership, etc. So Genesis is now going to be coming on as our PRO. Tyrese is the vice captain of the team. We have a lot of women involved. As a matter of fact, the women are probably the ones leading more than anything else. It's a good thing for us because they can be very good role models. But our young men are catching up very quickly. Devari is here with us in studio, not in front of the camera, but he's present, offering support to the rest of the club.
Okay. So Genesis, back to you. Women's rugby. Mr. Samuel spoke briefly about women really taking the lead in rugby. Tell us about your experience as a young woman playing rugby.
Okay. Growing up, it has been taught to us that women should be seen and not heard in rugby. If you're not heard, you're not playing on the field. Now, I must say, for the females in St. Lucia, we have a really strong female team, and I find that we're better than the guys because our females on the national side, we place first in Guadeloupe and in Martinique, and that has been in the last few months, not even a year. So I find the women are doing a lot, and in St. Lucia, we getting there. We're not at the level we should be, but we climbing, and we climbing fast.
So basically, in terms of competitions in St. Lucia, recently the Michael Mathre competition, for the first time, we saw the guys, Whiptail Warriors, coming out and absolutely pretty much destroying all competition. You all won every single match in that. Mr. Samuel, tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, it was a work in progress. Rogues, our nemesis, in some ways, won all of the tournaments last year, and before that, Stingers won all of their games, and we were placing second invariably. But we were building, and at the beginning of this year, Rogues predictably won the tournament again. But in the Mike Maffrey, which is the most recent tournament which has been completed, we won all our games, as you know, by handsome margins in some cases, but certainly showing that we were worth our salt. And then we just had another tournament yesterday which started, which is the Community Sevens. You're going to be having games in 4 or so different communities, and we won both games as well. So we've been undefeated in the last 6 games or so that we've played. But as we say, it's more than rugby, so it's not only about performing on the field. We develop our young people, and that translates into performances, and the women are just there as well. They have missed some of their players, including my daughter Sharon Samuels, who's on a scholarship overseas, rugby scholarship, the first ever scholarship for rugby in St. Lucia. We also had Chantel John, who's the captain, injured at this point in time, who couldn't participate. So they won one of their games and they lost the other one. But the boys, the men have been moving along, and we expect better going forward.
Definitely. Alright, so you mentioned something interesting in terms of scholarships. Because I think a lot of parents, I mean, I think I would be guilty of that too. I would gravitate towards a sport, or I would encourage, you know, my children to go towards a sport that has scholarships, and we're trying receiving that scholarship. What does that say to you, Genesis, and how much is there a balance of academics? What is that like in playing rugby?
Well, it's kind of difficult with all the training days, but we get the work done. Looking to see that Cheyenne got a scholarship, it really motivates me, because she was my friend, she was in my class, and I see if she can't get a scholarship at that young age for doing something that she loves, why can't I? You know, it pushes me to aspire to be just like her.
Were you ever interested in any other sport, and did you get that interest? Did anybody tell you rugby? Why is rugby? You do track and field, volleyball have scholarships.
Well, I started with track. I moved to netball, and I've been playing netball for all my life. I never saw a scholarship in netball because, you know, I'm very short. But
to say the least.
But in rugby, I find I can use my height to my advantage. So I'm looking forward to that. It's something I can see in my future.
So, Mr. Samuel, you for years, well, I knew you when I was going to Leonis Comprehensive as a teacher at the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School. How much has that influenced what you could have done in terms of developing rugby players?
Well, actually, at the Castries Comprehensive, we had one of the first clubs or groups in the school system. And I can remember one time we had Castries Comprehensive and Corinth had a team as well, and they played during lunch at Castries Comprehensive, the first ever in the school rugby tournament, if you want to call it that. And that in a sense is a genesis of our youth program. The rugby is now a professional sport and has been so over the past 10 or so years. That is significant. It's also an Olympic sport, which makes it even more significant. What I'm getting at is that the opportunities you have available now in rugby, you didn't have it so long ago. The first rugby tournament, well, within recent time anyway, was at the Rio Olympics, where New Zealand won. Australia now has a major thrust in terms of female rugby because of what has been happening at the Olympics, etc. Locally, we have been seeing the same sort of impact, where we have girls now, boys, children, etc., getting involved in the sport. People are now meeting you on the road and ask if they could join. I can remember not so long ago when people called it rugby instead of rugby. And that speaks to the so-called barbaric nature of the sport. But only people who are outside of rugby see it as being rough. Anybody who is in rugby will tell you that rugby is the best sport because there's a strong social side that you don't find in any other sport. So footballers have to finish playing except for the veterans, and those guys who have these fet matches will leave. We stay back after, and a part of the tradition is that you imbibe a few after the game. But that's where you get to so I could go but it's different because I could go anywhere in the Caribbean now. Once I announced that I'm in that country, my partners come to see me. I can remember going to Trinidad one year, my wife now and we checked into a hotel, and I made a mistake of calling a friend of mine. About an hour or so after, they had 5 vehicles parked outside, guys vying to see who will take us, you know, away from the hotel so that we can stay at the homes. And that's, in my opinion, the testimony to what sport can do. And then now we have these scholarships open. You'll be surprised, in the US you have so many schools playing rugby. Even the Americans don't know, but we're tapping into that. My brother has a sports management company, and that's one of the ways in which we're able to get shine overseas. And we're planning to get some of our players now, but as student athletes, where you do your academics and you do sports. You can access scholarships through that, and in a not too distant future you'll be hearing more about that.
Okay, before we actually get into rugby sevens, I wanted to ask you, Genesis, you mentioned the training regimen. Tell us a little bit more about how frequently you train, where do you train, and how do you actually get it done at training? What are some of the pressures of training?
Okay, so we train at the Cashers Comprehensive School from 9 on a Sunday, from 9 on a Sunday until 9 a.m. until probably 2 p.m. and as coach said, after we have our little social activity. On Tuesdays and Thursdays we train from 5 to 7 also at the Cashers Comprehensive School. Training days, I guess coach can testify, you train hard or you go home. So when we are training, it's all serious. You know, you train, you do what you have to do, and then after training, then we socialize. So,
Coach, you mentioned something that was sort of interesting, because mentioned in those earlier days, Cashers Comprehensive, and then Cashers Comprehensive, there's a field right in the middle of the school, and then you mentioned Corinth Secondary, there's a field adjacent to the school, and then we saw efforts being made recently to have a Sahafa Lewis team, and of course, in recent times I haven't heard too much about that. Is one of the problems in terms of developing rugby in St. Lucia the unavailability of playing field specifically for rugby, or is that something that you believe we can tap into and use to develop the sport?
Yeah, well, you have a number of reasons why rugby has not grown. One, of course, is the fact that it has been seen as a minor sport in St. Lucia, seen as rugby, rough, etc. So some people stayed away from it because of the very perception that it's rough. But that is changing. The situation concerning the field is one that you can manage. Football, for instance, is played generally for a 6-month period or so. But we can share. I know at Cashers Comprehensive over the years, we've had like 3 or 4 groups using the same field at the same time, but you manage it. The bigger problem, though, in terms of development rugby is the manpower. You still only have a few people who have the skills, because a specific technical sport which requires some sort of grounding. Everybody plays football, so almost everybody can fall in as a coach. Same thing is true for cricket, etc. But you don't have that in rugby, so only certain people. So we're trying to do now is bring through some people who can coach. What I find work though is not so much school rugby as community or not school sports, but community sports. School sports invariably play 4 or 5 games a season. So let's say inter-school football, at the end of the year you play 4 or 5 games. If you go through to the finals, you probably play 6. But at the community level, the people play generally right through. So that's one of the things we use as well. So we had Miku, Pero, Labre, all of those communities, Soufre, actually playing rugby. So it's not so much the field, it's more the people who can get it done. And that is one of the things we're looking at. Our group right now is work with a few guys in Soufre. They call themselves the Sulphur Lions, and they'll be playing in our tournament in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. All right, so Genesis, talk to me. Magnificent Sevens. Tell us a little what that is. What exactly is this thing you guys are trying to have at the end of this month?
It will be the 2nd year we will be hosting this tournament. Whiptail Warriors just came about with the tournament last year, and I guess it's something new that we're trying out. We're looking to have a lot of entertainment for the public. We have live entertainment, we have bouncing castles and stuff for the children. It's not only a rugby tournament, but it's also a social activity for the public to relate with our rugby players as well. We'll be having participation from Trinidad, Guyana. We have teams from Barbados, also St. Vincent and Martinique coming down, and we also have 4 local teams participating. The tournament is going to be held on June 30th, and action kicks off at 10 a.m.
It's just one day?
No, it's 2 days. 2 days. The 30th and the 1st. But everything, starts on the 30th.
Right. Let me leave you alone. Go ahead.
Yeah. Admission is absolutely free. So we encourage the public to come out and support the tournament, come out and see the vibe, see how rugby is played, meet the players, see that not only big people play rugby, because we have small people as well.
I've seen you play, and I mean, you don't play.
Yeah. So it's a good vibe. Bring the family, bring the children. Come enjoy. Come on the side. Oh, it's on the VG field.
Yes.
I forgot the venue.
Right there. So it's very close. It's accessible to us.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely. So Mr. Samuel, in terms of planning this event, how has it been for you? Tell us a little bit about some of the processes you've gone through.
Well, actually, our club is big on setting standards and doing things a particular way. If you notice, we're attired in our shirts. The one I'm wearing right now, we wore it for the first time. Yesterday, we got them imported from Trinidad. Our benefactor in terms of acquiring them is St. Lucia Linen, who provided the money to pay for the outfits and stuff. You can train as much as you want, but if you don't compete, you don't have any measure, any yardstick, any benchmark by which to determine how good you are. Especially since we're competing at the regional level. So part of the reason for us organizing this tournament is to ensure that we get worthy competition from outside of St. Lucia, people we can match ourselves against. But because of the way in which we are organizing it, even teams from Guyana and Trinidad, national teams, are planning to come over us because they're using it as a means of preparing themselves and even assessing where they are in the preparation for a tournament, a regional tournament that's going to be held in Barbados in September. Now, the plan of this thing, once it started, it basically snowballed and got bigger and better. So we started as a one-day tournament with a few teams coming across to where we are now, with a welcome reception on the night before, where we're going to have the teams there. We're expecting to have the Minister of Tourism, for instance, there, and Mrs. Belrose. We've written to them, so we have to follow up to find out if they will be attending. On the day itself, as Genesis mentioned, it's going to be a more than rugby thing. And as you know, we've been at the field, VG, to recce the spot to see where we're going to put what. Let me tell you how diverse this thing is. We're going to have a massage parlor at this tournament, a tent with at least 2 couches, and we're going to have masseurs there.
Should have started that.
Exactly. So you come there and you get massage. We're also going to demarcate a part of the pavilion for VIPs and treat them accordingly. Cheerleaders, I'm told, I hope that is accurate. We're going to have cheerleaders, but 30 cheerleaders, even if we get 15.
That's what you should have started.
Actually, she's one of the people getting cheerleaders, the staff for cheerleaders. We also, at the beginning of each game, going to have the cheerleaders stand with a palm frond to form a channel, and the people run onto the field. So there's some pomp and some ceremony. We're setting up towers using scaffold and a platform for television crews, at least one. DBS. And they're going to be shooting the activity all day. We plan to have TV personalities, Kenton Casimir of DBS. But apart from that, we're looking at Maureen and some others who ASI Hall has committed to being there so that we can have commentary and stuff like that. We're going to have live interviews. People going to be passing around. We're going to also have this, we used to look at on TV a backdrop with all the sponsors on it, and we're going to have to be actually interviewing people with that backdrop. So we're taking it to the next level, and that's just the start, really. On the day, we're going to actually have a show. We're going to have a traditional dance group. We have singers, models, you understand? DJ Clash, and the DJs will be there all day. So So all through the day, something's going to be happening.
Eats and drinks.
Yeah, eats and drinks. That goes without saying. And we're going to have Island Pops. You know Island Pops?
What's that about?
Okay, it's a guy called Henson Hunt who has a company called Island Pops, and what they've done is used sea moss and converted it into drinks and popsicle type things. So trust me, it's good for the. Well, some of us said, but he is going to be donating some of his stuff to us, and he's also Island Pops, and it's good actually. I know you more than likely know about the drink, the sea moss drink, but they've converted that thing into jellies and popsicles and all sorts of things. So. And the list goes on. I get excited every time I speak about this tournament. If it comes off the way we expect it to. And as I said, we're big on standards, so we want to start on time. We want to do everything in accordance with what is expected. And in terms of, for instance, we have referees who we've invited to officiate at this tournament. And we had a meeting with them last Tuesday to discuss firstly whether they are interested and the conditions under which they're going to be officiating. If they are not up to it, then they would not be refereeing for us. And we have another meeting Tuesday to iron out what we call in, how we referee, how we managing the games, etc. They'll be attired in a similar outfit, etc. Again, bringing this thing to the next level. So those are some of the things we want to have. I mean, I could go on and on. Because it's big. It's big.
Definitely looking forward.
Trophies. We're gonna have trophies and medals. So from first to third, everybody gets a medal. You understand? And the medals are going to be presented on a platter with some silver lining type thing, and your name called out and you'll be acknowledged, etc. So it's gonna be top thing. All
right, let me get some messages in there. Of course, from our earlier discussion, a number of messages came in there, so let me just get to them. All right, so earlier I spoke about Soufre having their fundraising activity for their netball team. Soufre Comprehensive Netball Team traveling to the regional competition. Miku sent me their flyer. Obviously, Soufre sent theirs since the day, so obviously Soufre in my mind, in the back of my head. It was published on St. Lucia Sports Online. That information is there on St. Lucia Sports Online, and so we will definitely extend the same courtesy to Miku. Shout out to all the Kazimis in Miku. Shout out to you guys. How you guys doing? Love you all. So Miku Secondary School and netball team, they present a pump, a fundraising court jam at Miku Court. Of course, I love that area there. Tickets $20 inclusive of barbecue and court entry 6 p.m. That is June 23rd 2018. So I'm going to read it again. June 23rd 2018, Miku Secondary School netball team presents Pump, a fundraising court jam at Miku Court. Tickets $20 inclusive of barbecue and court entry at 6 p.m. Entertainment. Let me see if I can read that there. By one, I think that's one drop jugglers, Drogba, and okay, I was changing my eyes there, but yes. So Miku, June 23rd, 2018. Alright, so that should be exciting. Of course, it's always good for persons to take their own initiative. Alright, somebody says big up my neighbors from a Union Hilltop. Hilltop Mafia in the building. Of course, a Union Hilltop. Of course, the crew there. I guess the neighborhood is watching and locked on. Alright. So great job. All the best to the rugby team. Great job to Corvis with a rugby team. All the best with your upcoming tournament. Alright, Hilltop, Union Hilltop. For those of you who do not know it, that's an exclusive place. Exclusive place. I'm telling you, that's where I'm living right now. Alright. Yeah. Alright, somebody's telling me that somebody was Caricom Masters captain.
That's another life and coach too.
coach of CARICOM Masters. Call me Stagman. Shout out the veterans in sports, man. I did not know that. The veterans, I think this year is going to be 7 or 8 years. I think it's 8 years. Obviously, I stand corrected. The information is going to come to me, but yeah. And somebody says he was CARICOM Masters captain. The coach saw him and he quit. Okay, I get the full story now. Yeah, it had to be something like that. Alright, somebody says good job, Kovis. Alright, somebody says Mr. Kovis, all the best, good job, keep up. It doesn't tell you stop hugging yourself. It's cold. Stay strong. So imagine, these people feeling cold. And they're almost sweating. I don't know why. I don't know. But yes. Alright. So we have some more information there. Good evening, Kenton. Do you know anything about the Coca-Cola tournament commencing this weekend? I touched on that briefly. I know there was a technical meeting today with most of the leagues at the SLFA. I know it's supposed to kick off this weekend, but I'm told that I should get the fixture by Wednesday. So obviously stay tuned to St. Lucia Sports Online, to Vibe Radio Banter, DBS Sports. I mean, once you have these three people, you will get that information. Once you follow in these three platforms there, rest assured you will get that information as soon as it becomes available for you guys. All right. We have some other. This FIFA World Cup for sure for the past few days has been one with so much hype and excitement. So far I can say never a boring day. I didn't get to see any game today. I was so busy. Well, except for the opening match. I still found the opening match was good. I do find so far all the matches have been quite exciting. The best game for me so far was Mexico versus Germany. Boy, them Mexicans gave the Germans a shock of their life. I agree. They ruined them. I see Mexico reaching far. My team has always been and will always be Brazil. But in all fairness, their first game was not all that. I really hope they come better in the next game. Belgium looking good also. So far looking like the team. So far looking like the team to go through. I guess Belgium looking like the team to go through. Good analysis there. That person I know for sure love their sport. That person love football. That person does not miss their football himself. Of course. So obviously I will venture to say that Belgium, I picked a team whose name starts with B to win the World Cup. That's my team, not in the World Cup. I'm a Dutchman. I love Holland. That's my team forever. But I went on record and say that a team starting with B. There are two teams starting with B, Belgium or Brazil. So we'll see what happens at the end of the World Cup. I have 2 chances to be correct. So that should be exciting. Alright, yeah, so this year is Veterans 8th year. Imagine that. Yeah, 8 years of veterans, boy. Wow. So very good stuff. Really okay, so we do our final break. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll open up the phone lines. I did have one other report on netball. District 1 primary schools, they did a netball activity. We did have one report. It's short, probably about a minute and 30 seconds. We'll get to that, and we will take your phone calls, and we'll read more of your messages at 488-0929. So we'll take our final break, and we'll be right back.
Blue Waters, 100% bottled in St. Lucia. So take a local Blue Waters break.
Tomorrow is promised to no one. But we can make a brighter today, knowing we can secure tomorrow for ourselves and the ones we love. Let Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company Limited show you the way to protecting all that is precious to you through home, motor, private and commercial fire, construction, and marine insurance. We provide for all your insurance needs to protect your lifestyle. Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company Limited, rated A Excellent by AM Best. That means our claims paying ability is stronger than ever. So we can insure tomorrow. Secure.
Alright, welcome back to 758 Sports Talk, and we're going to open the phone lines in a little bit. We did have some other information to get to in a couple seconds. Somebody already messaged me to tell me that I didn't make any mention of St. Lucia Sports Online's Moshi FC and their exploits on the weekend. Of course, the Grosley Promotional League, the football league, it continued on the weekend, and St. Lucia Sports Online sponsored Moshi FC. They continue to dominate the competition. The team featuring individuals mainly from the Grosley town. They defeated Ridgeway FC 8-0 on a Sunday afternoon in a match played at the Corin playing field. Prolific striker Troy Greenidge was on the score sheet yet again. Troy scoring a hat-trick in that game. Of course, Rafael Lajen scored a brace, which is 2 goals in that competition. Manoa Tiras Faisal on the goal scoring list, and Nick Tuss, Baby Lawrence also on the scoring list. Of course, in the other game, the first game played, KFC GMC United, who are the defending champions, of course, they would be the team to beat in this competition. They are still the defending champions. They were very close to making it all the way up to the Division 1 football. So in terms of their pedigree, there is no doubting their potential. They drew with Twist Dominators in a 1-1 draw. So by virtue of that result, it will be KFC GMC versus St. Lucia Sports Online Moshi FC in the final this coming Sunday, Grosley Promotional Football League. The winner of that matchup will be playing and featuring in the SLFA's President's Cup. So all to play for this weekend. All the results in the previous games are now history. The winner takes all in this encounter. So that should be very, very, very exciting. Alright, we had another report from netball on Friday. The schools in District 1, they participated in the netball festival, and we have a very short report for you guys. Let's go to that. Schools in District 1 held a netball activity on Friday at the VG Sports Complex. District 1 includes schools from the Grosley and Babonneau region. Solomon Alexander is a teacher in the Babonneau region.
Today we have a netball festival for the District 1 schools, those from Babonneau, the Babonneau area.
Schools in District 1 have produced some of the more prominent netballers in St. Lucian history. The schools also participate in football, volleyball, and track and field. Mr. Solomon spoke to the overall objective of the festival.
The objective was to allow the students to play the sport, because a lot of them at the schools, they don't have the facilities to play the sport. But now we came to the complex to really display the sport against other students who have been learning as well.
The participating schools were engaged in the basic netball skills, including agility, catching, and the flexibility drills. Mr. Solomon Alexander spoke to who were the drivers of this activity.
It's going very well. The inclement weather kept us back a bit, but the students had a chance to display their skills, the catching skill and movement in the sport of netball.
Over 80 students participated in the event. Schools including Dame Paulette Louise Primary, Laguerre Combined, Bogus, and Babonneau in that region participated. Netball purist Bayan Montout played a huge part in this initiative.
Coach Marcia Montout, the lady from the Fossa area, and we have the ministry who as well was spearheading the whole operation, and of course the students from the schools.
Right, so we've seen Queen Junior kill that cat. Yeah, so we've seen individuals from the District 1 schools, but District 1 also include Grosley, but more so the schools from the Union all the way up to Babonneau, Laguerre, Bogus area really coming together to put on this competition. We open the phone lines to you guys. The number to call is 451-9788 with any questions about the upcoming Magnificent Sevens competition and any sort of suggestions, anything you want to contribute to our discussion tonight. Of course, it's open to all things sports. It's a Monday night, so we can talk anything to do with sports. It's 451-9788 is the number to call, 451-9788, and you can continue to send us your WhatsApp messages at 488-0929. Speaking of schools, one of the theories out there is most other schools that have not really developed in St. Lucia is because we don't have a strong primary school or secondary school culture in it. I have a call. Give me 1 second. All right. Good evening. You're live. Go ahead with your contribution. We'll get back to that. Good evening. You're live. Go ahead with your contribution. Caller.
Hello. Good night, Kenton.
Hello. Good night.
I'm happy to see Mr. Colvish and the other lady on. Hello?
Yes. Go ahead with your contribution.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. I said I'm happy to see you all on showing of your rugby. But this is a game I am kind of afraid of. I look at it, I see it's always very rough. Although my son is playing in it, and I've never had a chance to come and watch him. Not have a chance, but I had to come and see him play because I feel the game is so rough. So Mr. Colvis said it's not rough. We outside are looking at it as if it's rough, but it is not. So I will try on the day of your Magnificent Seven to come and participate.
Do you know, caller, that there are more injuries in football than in rugby? Do you know that?
It has what?
There are more injuries in the football. The World Cup football you're looking at there. Football. There are more injuries in that than in actual rugby. Do you know that?
So?
Yeah.
I know all games have injuries, but I'm just kind of maybe not accustomed to the rugby too much. So now Mr. Colvis is making it St. Lucia.
Yeah.
All around St. Lucia, and I'm happy to know that.
Yeah, now women are doing very well.
Yeah, the women are doing very well in it.
So it's good. So that should tell you. Not to say that women are softer, because let me tell you, I know some women that. Well, let me tell you, they taking hits and they passing block more than the men. But if they are thriving in it, it speaks to the fact that it is safe enough that we can encourage our young ones to participate in it.
Yes, I encourage him, but it's just the fear in me.
Okay.
And my son is right there. I think he's in the studio with you.
Okay. I wonder which one. We have some other football. We have other rugby footballers here, rugby players here. So yes, St. Lucia.
Mr. Colvin should know who's talking.
Okay.
Yes, that's Teacher Jean. What happened to you? You don't know my
Teacher Jean. Which one of them fellas is your son? Let me give him a plug. Because you hear me, the amount of carrots I get for me to be disciplined in my life, I have to pass it on. Hey, Grosley Primary School. That's why I went to Teacher Jean. Was my teacher there. I get carrots for not behaving myself already. So which one of them they bring it home for you? Alright,
okay,
but you good?
Alright.
Yeah, man.
All the best.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Yeah. Yes, in schools, because there's a belief that if we channel it through schools, that perhaps we can get more done in terms of, again, what the caller just spoke of, dealing with those sort of negative influences that are mostly mental. People have those blocks that people have towards rugby.
Well, the sooner you start, the better. And it has been shown that in the earliest, if you introduce sports, the earlier you introduce it, the more likely you are to develop a champion. And I think at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. But it's also the recreational form of it, which you can do there as well. Our sport is not organized. It's not perennial. It's something we do seasonally, etc. We don't focus on things like strength and conditioning, the mental part of it, etc. So another thing too is that you have to be careful that you don't make it too organized too early. Because people burn out, etc. We see that in the States in gymnastics, tennis, etc., where people start playing at 9 or thereabout, but by the time they get to 16, 17, they don't want to play anymore. They have tennis elbow, etc. But you have to start very early and in a structured manner to get the best out of the students. Cuba, for me, is one of the best countries, best examples, and Jamaica is also a very good example. Into school, what we call secondary school sports in Jamaica. It's a big thing, boys and girls champ. You have more people at that than you have in St. Lucia. So I know the government some time ago trained some PE teachers and send them into the primary schools. That's a start, but you have to drill down, because if you do something, practice makes permanent. Right? It doesn't make perfect. So if you do the wrong thing at the primary school level, you like to get into trouble. But certainly the awareness, developing even things like your coordination. They have some kids in schools can't run one lap around the field. Because we sedentary, we play on the phone all the time. So you can't run around the field. So we have an obesity problem in some ways, but certainly we have a diabetes problem. So because we are not doing the right thing, so our eating habits terrible, and physical education and sports train you and condition you in that way. So I agree totally that we should start as early as we can, get the people organized, and the schools that are doing well in sports, primary school sports, are the ones that are organized. They have a coach, they have in some cases even have a nutrition program going on, etc. So that's just my view.
Definitely. All right. Somebody says, "Great show. All the best, Colvis. Keep working, bro." I can tell you that is David Shakes, Christopher, always locked on. I wonder if Shakes have a story. Shakes, you have a story about this young one? Shakes should have a story about you too.
You know, years ago when Shakes started Blackheart, at Mindu Phillip Park, I was the stats person.
Oh, you were there? Okay.
Back in the day, I think that was the second or third time they had it at Mindu Phillip Park, and that has grown. By leaps and bouncing.
Blackheart is back on the way already, because the discussions already, meetings going on and everything. Let me tell you, Coca-Cola football, then of course promotional leagues all over the place. I was looking for this information on this thing that somebody sent me, but I'm not getting it right now. But yeah, certainly information coming in on the different sporting activities, but definitely things are coming on. Somebody gave a thumbs up here. I guess that person will say a little bit more after. Or I guess if that's all they want to say, that's fine.
But what I wanted to do, if you would permit me to, just acknowledge the people who have assisted us so far. You cannot do this thing on your own. And I'll just quickly go through the list. I run the risk of leaving out some people, but that is not deliberate. It's not intending to harm in any way. It's just that at my age, we go through these senior moments. So I even made some notes while you were speaking. But DCL has promised us 2 handsets that we're going to offer to the MVPs.
Nice.
MVPs are the people who score the most points. St. Lucia Linen, I mentioned earlier, paid for our uniforms. And Shasney Jade, they've given us some assistance to help the team from Soufriere. Obey Serafin has promised to help us with accommodation for the referee that we're bringing in from Trinidad. Home Depot gave us some paint. Blue Waters gave us 20 cases of water. We also have Phone Bay. They're going to be giving us at least 1 tablet. So we're going to use that tablet and another as the prize for the MVP. We have on board as well the Farmers Credit Union. So we're actually bringing in everybody into this family. SMJ is going to provide us with some stuff. Civil Service Credit Union give us half the money to buy the trophies and the medals and things like that. Reno Construction give us some pipe that we're going to use to organize the goals.
Okay, nice.
And I don't know if you could have two similar companies sponsoring the same event. But for
it's a sporting activity.
It's a family.
And let me tell you, this sponsorship is not always forthcoming. So I don't think that anybody would frown upon sponsoring a rugby tournament that is developmental and that sort of thing. So go ahead.
Right, and so we have Flo. Flo asked us what size and how many shirts we need. Because what we're doing, what we've done rather is to develop a cadre of volunteers. And each group has a certain or specific task to perform on the day. So we have a group that's going to be organizing the show, another group that's going to be organizing food, the drinks, etc. And those shirts will be worn by those people. So remember, we said we're taking it up to the next level, certainly from a rugby standpoint. So they're assisting, and we also following up with some other people we've sought assistance from, and we're hoping that after seeing your show, Kenson, that people will be rushing forward to help. And it's a worthy cause. Genesis said it very, very well. It's more than rugby. So we have bouncing castle, trampoline for the kids, the grown-up, if you want it. Grown-ups who want to sit and chat and whatever, there's a place for that. And of course, there'll be giveaways on the day. Periodically in young ladies dressed in their cheerleading uniform, the models, etc. So you have some eye candy while you're watching the rugby.
Men, stay focused.
And for the men, of course, for the women rather, you have the guys in shorts. Gonna be competing. Rugby players wear shorts than normal. So you have your option. Then it's comfort. And it's no, I'm just telling you that because next for fear that people might take it the wrong way, but we play a sport where you can grab the shirts. So it has to be tight fitting like mine. So all my biceps and triceps.
So at the end of the day, they can't hold too much.
So that is there too. And we it's gonna be a great day. I can sense it.
Definitely. Sounds very excited. I definitely let me tell you, I had to circle it on my calendar for a lot of reasons. But I think especially seeing the final of the Michael Maxwell competition, I think the vibe was just really good. I enjoyed the vibe. I enjoyed being around, taking pictures, listening to some of the conversation, listening to some of the arguments, listening to some of the quarreling, listening to. Let me tell you, when you're at rugby kind to buy, you're getting everything there. Somebody sent a message, but Genesis, what's the solution? Okay, big up Whiptail Warriors. Big up Whiptail Warriors Day, DER 100. Then what emoticon is that? I don't know. A face, Mr. Colvis. All how we there. What's that? What's that? That's bees. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20 bees. Alright? To you on your time, stay strong. I guess on your team, stay strong. Keep it up. 100. Exclamation. Another face. People, let me tell you all, the 30th will be lit. Come support the rugby players. We lad. My goodness. I've been doing this show for a while. I never get a message. No, I never get a message. No. History in the making. No, I have to save that one somewhere. History in the making. Yeah, man. Alright, somebody says, Kenson, I encourage and help him to get rugby into Olympic family. Okay, that's David Chase Christopher. Yeah, as a member, and I'm proud to see how the sport is growing. Only thing, I need a few of his girls in boxing.
They always say that to the
Stay in your section. Let me tell you, I was wondering when in that statement boxing would come in. This man is obsessed. Everything. But I agree because the physicality is there. So yeah, man. I mean, and it doesn't hurt. I mean, the actual fitness you get from being a boxer As long as you don't fly no cups on the field, don't feel you in a boxing match, I guess it wouldn't be. But in terms of, interestingly, in terms of the Olympic Committee, is rugby seen as, well, I know rugby is an Olympic sport, but is there any assistance coming? Because I noticed you didn't mention.
Yeah, well, through the executive and under the stewardship of Mrs. Fortuna Belrose, the rugby fraternity, which we like to call it, has been benefiting, you could say, significantly. Even she assisted in getting us a plot of land by Syra.
Yeah, man.
That's a big thing. So rugby needed a home. They've assisted financially and otherwise, and it has been great. Mrs. Belrose has over the years been supporting rugby by her mere presence. I mean, I think she turns up to everything you invite her to, and you can't say the same for some other people. So that in itself is a plus. In addition, of course, I said she's assisting. I mean, we've been searching for a home for rugby for decades, literally, and we finally have one.
So that's good.
So that's big. So even if the committee doesn't do anything after now for another year or so, I mean, you're good. But for sure, for participation in Olympic type events and stuff, or plan to develop a 7-a-side team that could compete at the Olympics. I mean, it's kind of ambitious, but that's where
we must have ambition.
So for sure, David Christopher just mentioned that he assisted. I mean, we applied, we had to meet a certain criteria, etc., and we did. We are now part of the family, and the sky is the limit because coming out of that, you have Commonwealth Games. Rugby is actually in Commonwealth Games. It's in the Pan Am Games. So those are some low-hanging fruits we can aim for. And once you get on that particular train, I mean, the sky is the limit.
All right. He said that he said he got one, but it was zero roads. But let me tell you, I'm not surprised. No, where is it about the field?
Exactly.
Yes.
We're not that bad. We are not that
Then
bad.
you'll have to be confident. So that's good. Somebody says June 30th we lit in the Blicks. I don't know what that means, Lord. And they have two ballerinas. No, you all know emojis, boy. Then they have the horns coming out. Come see a great game and our cute cheerleader.
That's right. Big up the staff and cheerleaders.
Christ. Okay.
Cheerleaders.
All right.
Today, of course.
Of course, coach.
Cheerleaders practice today.
Oh, they practice today? Oh, they on the Leclerc field?
No.
At what time? Where? What time? I need to get the
private session for a while.
Okay. Hey, if you want to see the cheerleaders, June 40th. All right, take your time. Take your time. Don't send me those messages. You will not find out. All right. All right. Somebody says Eduardo thinking of a veterans football this year. What do you think? All right. Only one person that's called me Eduardo in this whole world. Shout out, boss. Shout out, guys. Wow. I think he should. Of course. Come on. Player veterans, young still. Yeah, man. All right. Somebody says, good night. The best thing to happen at SALCC in the last 5 years, rugby. Thanks to Samuel Alcindor and the association, our female footballers need to adopt the rugby fitness program. My full support to the rugby folks. Gilroy, Izai, Hall. All right, Hall.
Gilroy is one of our announcers at the tournament.
Of course, he will support something like that. I mean, he was there when I was at Safa Lewis, and so, I mean, he's been doing his thing there. And of course, Sean was here last week talking about cricket. I've seen him coaching. I've seen him have coaching programs there. I've also seen him refereeing. So we've seen some individuals that have ambitions to take the sport to another level, which is good. All right. Somebody says big up to the whole rugby vibe. Bringing the sport to the schools is a brilliant idea. Please don't forget the schools in the south when it all starts. Of course, definitely. We want to see it in the south as well. Okay, I had to take a look to see if I know that person, because the south people always want their thing. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. All right. Somebody says, big up, bro. I am happy to help make this a great weekend. Thomas, understand? Thomas working 24. Thomas, yeah, make sure everything prep. I don't have to say that twice, because I mean, Thomas always working. Every time I pass there, I say Thomas making sure that everything is on point in the VG area. All right, let me see if yes. All right.
emojis again.
Somebody, cut over that. Leave that alone, because don't leave that alone. Down their self, yes. All right, so pretty much we've quickly run out of time, and I mean we have to. It happens. I mean, most people are sending congratulatory messages, and most people are wishing you all the best and that sort of thing. So I think you're onto a good thing there.
Just imagine that last Saturday we were in Gasseries, handing out flyers, inviting people to the tournament, recruiting new members and stuff like that. As part of this entire thing. So it's not just sit back and expecting it to happen. We're actually being proactive, yeah. And Genesis was there leading the charge, and the young people are the ones that really taking up this thing and running with it. And for us, well, she is out of this half a program, you understand, in some ways, and it speaks volumes to what you can do if you apply yourself. And we're noticing that some of the young people are falling by the wayside, and if you could use rugby as a vehicle, you know, to get them back on track, literally, it's a good thing. Rugby also, because of the nature of the sport, a lot of people who have issues in terms of violence and stuff like that, temper and stuff like that, they tend to mellow when they come into rugby.
Because you have to channel everything.
And we call it they call it elegant violence, they call it controlled aggression. But at the end of the day, it's a family. And that is one of the things for me that makes rugby apart from the other sports. The family, the strong social side to it. I know her parents been to her home, she has been to her home, nearly everybody. The two people sitting across there, brother and sister, their mother is actually part and parcel of the planning committee for this thing actually. So Naomi is one of the leaders too in getting the cheerleaders.
I know Naomi couldn't be playing.
She's playing.
She played.
She just started last week actually. But she is
anyway, Genesis, last words from you. I mean, it's your opportunity to get solutions to come out again for this activity.
Okay, just so y'all know, it's a free event, and we would like to encourage people to go onto our Instagram page, go onto our Facebook page. It's Whiptail Warriors on our Instagram and Facebook page. People go like, subscribe, watch the videos, the pictures, the posts, everything, and just follow. We have updates for you, we have giveaways for you. Just go on and follow.
Nice. Good stuff. If you like, follow after that. Yes, Mr. Samuel, last words from you.
I'm really impressed with Genesis, and I can come out of a situation where people are given the opportunity to perform, and that's exactly what the Magnificent Seven is about, giving people an opportunity to showcase their talents, and those who are not yet involved, an opportunity for you to see what we do, how we do it, and then you can join if you so desire. We hope that you will all turn out on the day. You want to fill the VG field. You understand? The capacity, it must be bigger than even Epic Wednesday. That's what we're thinking about. And it could only happen if people support. So thank you very much, Kenson. If you notice, Kenson wasn't mentioned among the list of sponsors, and that's because I wanted to give him a personal.
Not Kenson.
No, not Kenson. St. Lucia Sports Online. And he has donated his house. At least one level. And he's going to help us, and he's been helping us with getting the message out there, organizing even this activity to allow us to really and truly get the message out. So thank you very much, Mr. St. Lucia Sports Online. We're truly grateful.
He deserves it. His son taking all the pictures everywhere. You will see Matt CPL taking pictures. You do it for your charge. So good.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming on set. Really impressed with your level of organization. St. Lucia, you've heard it all here. There's really not much more I can say. A developing sport in St. Lucia, very well organized activity. June 30th, VG Sab playing facility. All the activities there, limited. They've gone above and beyond to bring rugby to you guys, and they're asking for you guys to just come out and support this activity for sure. DBS Sports, St. Lucia Sports Online, we will be covering that activity and pretty much bringing it to you guys afterwards, but we really want you to make a concerted effort to be at the SAB playing facility on June 30th. Okay, so for the rest of the week, you will be hearing more and more from us here, giving you more information about the tournament. We'll be capturing some of some of the moments for you guys. When teams arrive, we'll be trying our best to cover as much as we can to bring it to you guys. All right. So we are the time, said Lucia. Thank you so much for inviting us into your homes tonight. On behalf of our entire sports team, I am Kenson Casimir. Enjoy the rest of your week. Good night.
Excellent.